How long? Oh, so that guy that I dated the longest for 4 years, I didn't have sex with him for 6 months. Yeah. The more I like someone, the longer I wait.
I do that too.
I think that's
ridiculous.
It's
100% true.
It's like
so
scary. I mean, I've never like gone long term with anyone that I've went on dates with.
I need to gather data.
I'd never like have sex with them because I mean, personally, I'm like traditional.
Oh, that's not me. I just want to gather data.
Yeah.
Wait, but
I don't have an Excel spreadsheet like literally, but I have one in my head. And if I like somebody, I don't want my judgment clouded, so I wait.
So hold on, and I know you want to come in here really quick, Brittany. So you're saying that the guys that you think you want to pursue for long-term relationships, you're going to make them wait for sex, but the guys that you would not consider for long-term relationships that are not worthy, let's say, you'll just fuck them.
No, because
right
I don't just fuck them. I mean, I just.
I've
never had a one-night stand. Never. So.
Have you ever slept with a guy the same night you met him?
One, and that's the guy I make BG content with now. So.
Okay.
But it's not a relationship.
It's
right?
not a relationship, no. But I make him wait longer.
Brittany, you wanted to come in?
I had a question for my quadrant sister here. So you said that in your long-term relationship, there was a hookup, even though you had known each other prior within the first few dates, and you said you're traditional. Weren't you kind of worried that maybe it would leave an impression on him? Because I feel like guys, as a tendency, not always obviously, especially nowadays, will view like if she were to sleep with me on the first night, well, doesn't she do that with everyone else, sort of thing? Like, were you worried about that sort of thing?
Not really. I mean, like, I don't usually do that, but I did with him, and there was like alcohol involved. But so like after that, we were just like inseparable, and we're still together now. And like with my relationship, like we're very traditional. I don't let him watch porn. I don't, I even like say like liking girls' photos on Instagram's cheating or anything like that because, you don't need to look at another girl when you're with me.
Maybe you just got better stuff to do than dating for that. I don't know. Like, I feel like I've got better stuff to do, and like it's just gonna bring bad stuff, like to,
Well, I don't know. Like, there's only 2 guys on this panel, so I'm wondering if Brian thinks that.
No, it would, definitely.
No, I was gonna ask if he thinks that like if a girl slept with you on the first night, would you automatically think like, does she normally do that? Is she a hoe? That type of thing?
I certainly think that some men will view it that way, but me personally, I don't necessarily think that the quickness with which a woman will hook up with you on an individual level is necessarily an indicator of past promiscuity or current promiscuity.
Why?
Sometimes it's just like, random.
She just either wants you. It could be that she wants you that bad.
How do you know it's not just a cope?
What do you mean?
A cope
for
like,
on the guy's end?
Yeah, for like ego purposes, like, oh yeah, I was just such a Chad, she had to.
It could be.
Instead of like, well, she was like basically naked on her Tinder or whatever it was.
Well, I mean, for example, there might be girls, and I've definitely heard from girls on this who they're virgins and they don't want to wait for like the perfect in love moment. They just kind of almost in the same way that some guys will view their virginity as like, yeah, I kind of want just want to lose it. So some girls will just, sleep with the guy really quick, even though they're a virgin.
You don't think it reflects on the committal level at all?
What do you mean?
Like if you just met a girl, meaning there's no prior friendship, you haven't really seen her around, you just go on the date, you met on a dating app, whatever, and she just like sleeps, so you don't think that she did that with other guys?
Well, I mean, it could be to some degree an indicator. I think there's stronger indicators of potential promiscuity because I don't think it necessarily, if a girl sleeps with someone quickly, that it necessarily means that they sleep with a lot of people. For example, someone who's a serial monogamist, they could have long-term relationships and not really be into like going out, partying, clubbing, going on, having one-night stands. But they don't have any qualms with hooking up quickly. But they also aren't just like racking up numbers. What's that?
But wouldn't that be promiscuous?
What do you mean?
Like to do that?
Well, I'm not sure if serial monogamy is
no, not serial monogamy. I mean like on the first night, and they're doing that a lot.
Well,
that's like a repeated pattern of behavior.
I don't think that. I don't think you are necessarily promiscuous if you sleep with someone quickly. I think
Then what-
promiscuity has more to do with the amount of partners that you're sleeping with.
But
If
when
you're-
somebody who does that on the first night have a lot of bodies, though?
They're more likely to, yes, but it's not. I don't think it's a given.
It's not a given, but there's a pretty high likelihood.
I don't
Maybe
know.
that just meant that the wine was good. I mean,
I slept with him. I mean, not necessarily
But
quickly.
you guys were friends prior,
and,
so there's that context.
We didn't have
right?
sex, and month or 2 months in, I had sex with him, which I don't think that'd be too quickly for like hookup culture now. But I did that, and I don't have a high body count, but I don't do that often. And
But
like
the context
The
is
month
different for
isn't that
yours.
quick,
That's
though.
the point I'm trying to
I'm
make.
just saying, because also like I used to party a lot in high school, and I didn't have sex with anyone.
Because it's just like the logic, it comes across to me like if a woman has sex with all these other guys on the first night, they're a hoe, but if they do it with me, they're not a hoe. That's how it kind of comes across.
I understand like what you mean by that, and just like.
Because if I
You
were a
know?
guy or a girl looking for a
Yeah.
long-term relationship and somebody did that on the first night, especially if I were a guy and it's a girl, like
Yeah.
that would be the first thought. Like, what is their pattern behavior?
But
I
what
mean,
if
when
like a
somebody
guy
wants
would
commitment,
turn-
do that.
like
That's
a
the
guy
thing.
would turn down pussy. Like, come on.
Okay,
Well,
well,
that
what
won't.
if it's natural? What if you're just both feeling each other, you're really clicking, and it is romantic?
Yeah.
Like, is that okay? Like, it feels
Very
right in the moment.
romantic.
Well, I would put it like this. Even for me, if it felt right and amazing, that wouldn't happen for me. Even if it was the perfect night and I'm just meeting this person. So, and I'm clearly not the only person in the world that exists like that,
Yeah.
right? So. But I guess it depends too, like, what's your end goal? Like, I don't know, does everyone here want to get married in a long-term committal relationship? Like, what are your standards?
Well, I mean, what are my standards? Or
Yeah.
I prefer long-term relationships. I'm not particularly interested in just having sex with someone once. That's to me that's kind of pointless. To sleep with someone once and then never talk to them again. That's kind of like for me it's like, what's the point? Waste of time. If I have sex with someone, I want there to be a continuity. I want to continue seeing them with the hope that it does become something long-term. But sometimes, whether that's on her end or there's something.
But what's the point? Like, what's the end game?
Of what? Dating?
Yeah.
Long-term relationship. Maybe kids.
So no marriage, right?
I'm not in favor of marriage, no. Okay, kind of semantics. Here, let's go back to this thing. Okay, you said that you made a guy who you wanted to be in a relationship. You made him wait 6 months
I didn't know if I wanted to be in a relationship, but yeah, 6 months.
before having sex.
Yes. And I slept
6
naked, like, in the
months.
bed with him and everything. I've done that a lot of times. Actually, every guy except one that I've had sex with, I slept a whole night in the bed naked.
And then
yeah.
what is the
I like
the
to sleep naked.
quickest,
I like being naked.
What's the quickest period of time that you've hooked up with a guy?
I just told you the guy I do BG content with now, we hooked up the same day we met. But that was an anomaly for sure.
Okay, what would you say your average is of all the men you've slept with?
2 to 6 months.
That's such.
No, I'm like
that's
being
bullshit.
100%. I'm
That's such
Persian. I
bullshit.
grew up like I have to
Okay.
be home at 11
You're
p.m.
from
Where would
Iran?
I? Yeah, my parents are. I was born here.
You're 39.
No, I'm
39.
No, she's 39. I'm 28.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, I got it mixed up. You're 28. Well, in
Yes.
any case, you've been an adult for
Yeah, but
decent-
even if
For 10
I've
years.
only moved out like in the last
a
4 or
year
5
ago?
years, and before that I had to be home at 11. Like, when would I procure said high body count? Like, I don't even.
Did you have a car?
Yeah, but I had to be home at 11. Like, I wasn't.
Well, to be fair,
Afternoon delight.
to be fair, if she's saying she's going on all these dates, right? That means that there's guys willing to go on the dates with her. So, like, if they're already willing to do that, like, that doesn't necessarily mean she has to sleep with them, that they're getting that. She's clearly able to, like, replicate it a lot, right? Just number-wise.
Sure.
So I think it's believable if you're not sleeping with every single one, if you're able to replicate it so much, just statistically.
Also,
2 to 6 months. That's
If I
that's
like,
a little
yeah.
suspect.
Yeah,
No,
but you've
I'm
seen how
very-
bad simps are online. Like,
I told you I like
Yeah.
to get to know, and if I have
not
sex
that you're a
with
simp for
someone,
doing that, though.
I start filling in gaps, and I'm very analytical, and so I want to like take in all the information, get to know the person, and then I'll sleep with them.
Okay. Well, I guess
I also like making them wait. I like making them sleep in
Do
the
you
bed
feel like
naked
it,
with me.
you like making them wait. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Like, I like making them control themselves.
Yeah, honestly, having sexual discipline is like a green flag.
Like if I'm
especially
sleeping in
having
the bed
daughters.
naked with you and you need to be on your best behavior. If you're not, it's a no.
Do you feel like it clouds your judgment?
If I have
Bro,
sex, yeah, that's what I'm
This
saying.
doesn't make any sense to me because the guy who you're now currently fucking, who you do porn with,
Yeah.
speaking of sexual discipline, you slept with him like the first time you met. So where did these rules go
Because I
when
knew
you met him?
I wouldn't like him. He asked me like he
Th-
asked
but
me
that's
about my
what's so
star
fasc-
sign. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't like him?
Yeah, because he asked me my
So do you
sign.
like him now?
No, I mean he's
So
like a
hold
friend.
on, just to be clear, the guys you do like, you make them wait for the reward or sex.
Yeah.
However, the guy who you dislike, you fuck him immediately.
Well, I've only slept with 7 people, so clearly I don't. If I just dislike you, it doesn't mean
Okay.
I automatically have sex with you.
Okay.
So what's your question?
But of the 7 people you've slept with, the one that you slept with the quickest, I find it interesting that you
Yeah, I
didn't
liked
like
him the least. He
Isn't that
met the
interesting how that
threshold for
works?
I'll have sex with him, but he didn't meet anything.
So he's just what, very physically attractive?
No, he just felt like a vibe, and I wanted BG content.
He felt like a vibe.
Yeah, he felt like he'd be good for the role, and he's great for the role.
He would be good for the role. Okay.
Yeah.
But would it be better if she did just sleep with every single guy she went on a date on?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing for a woman who waits, but I guess my sticking point with it is when you had a way you moved previously where it was like, okay, I'm just gonna hook up with guys really quick, and then you did that throughout your 20s, and now you're 30, and okay, now I want to find a relationship. I want to settle down with a
that's
guy.
clearly not me.
Now I'm going to switch up my behavior, and the guys in my past, they were all jerks, they were all assholes, slept with them
Wait,
quick.
I have to interject here because
That's like the opposite
Because
of me.
earlier you said that it doesn't reflect if the woman sleeps with you on the first date.
What do you mean?
That kind of contradicts that. You said earlier.
I don't see, I'm not sure there's a contradiction there.
So earlier you said it doesn't necessarily reflect if the woman sleeps around or not, but then you're saying that.
No, I'm saying on the sole metric of the quickness with which a woman might sleep with someone, I don't think you can necessarily assume that she's promiscuous or has a high body count based on the quickness that she sleeps with someone. Now, it could be a factor amongst other factors that might lead you to believing that, but
Okay, I see what you're saying, but you also said that them sleeping
Okay,
around a lot isn't necessarily a good thing, which I agree. I'm anti-hookup culture in general.
Well, okay, let me ask you a question. If a woman who's a virgin sleeps with someone the first night she meets them, is she automatically promiscuous?
It wouldn't be a pattern behavior, yeah, but it is a promiscuous thing to do. It is a promiscuous thing to do, objectively
It's a little
speaking.
weird.
Yeah, and it seems out of behavior. Like, is
It's
she on
the
drugs? Is she
beginning of
drinking?
promiscuity.
It's less
She's on the path
likely.
to promiscuity, I suppose.
But it's still
she's taking
promiscuous
her first step.
behavior. It is.
Well, I think the obvious promiscuous behavior would be the one that immediately comes to me is sleeping with many people. That to me is the clearest definition of what promiscuity is.
Well, that's what it is. Like,
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is if you sleep with someone quickly, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're promiscuous. For example, let's say the first person you ever slept with, you ended up dating them for 2 years, and then you were single for a little bit, and then the next person you sleep with, you then have a 3-year relationship, you sleep with them on the second date, and then your third relationship, you slept with them the first night. You've slept with 3 people, but all of them you slept with relatively quickly, but they all ended up becoming long-term relationships. I don't think you could consider that woman or man in that case promiscuous.
I think that they got lucky at that point.
Yeah, they got like that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
It's a
I still
lucky
think that
bastard.
doesn't change that it's promiscuous behavior. It is because when you're doing that, you don't even know the person. There's no commitment there at all, right? It's not even really a situationship at that point. You just met this person.
Yeah, you just got like.
I think
like-
if you're gonna make a bet, though, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So if you don't have much to go on, and you're like, I wonder what kind of person this is, then you would be like, okay, if she's doing this with me, it's a good guess to say she's done this with other people. Now, that's not
Right.
100% sure. Like in my situation, I've only done that once, and so he would be wrong, but I don't think he would be wrong in making that assumption, which is,
Right.
I think, what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
But the point is the relationship didn't work, and I think that's what she's talking about, is that these like relationships where they just met each other, they instantly had sex. like what's the odds that's going to work?
Well,
Because
let's
it's dangerous behavior. There's a lot of risks involved
Yeah.
when you get that intimate with
like
someone
you barely
in
know
general.
that person.
Like what I said
Especially-
earlier, like you're opening up yourself to somebody like in such a vulnerable position. Like there's a risk with like hooking up with somebody, and hookup culture is you're putting yourself in danger.
The whole point is to see
Literally.
the person's crazy before you do anything serious.
Well, I think we should also add some context to the situation too, because, for example, if you meet someone at a nightclub and you're both intoxicated and you hook up relatively quickly in those circumstances, that is perhaps not the best starting point for a serious relationship. However, if you met at, I don't know, you met in person at some sort of shared hobby, or you had a conversation that about expectations in the relationship, and you didn't meet at in some sort of party environment where alcohol was involved, or another contextual thing might be people who are traveling around. If the person that you're about to sleep with, they're in town for 2 days and they live 3,000 miles away.
I don't think that
Maybe
makes it
don't.
less promiscuous, though. I understand what you're saying with the different contexts of the situations, but I have to ask the question, what would someone that does partake in hookup culture and likes to have casual sex, they go on a date, what would they do? They would have sex.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, they like that they would have sex with them, right? So then what does it say about somebody if they're doing that? They just meet someone and then they're having sex. Because I know for me, as somebody that's against that I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
So I'm betting that other people, like just pattern behavior, also wouldn't want to do that. So somebody that is promiscuous, they do sleep on the first date. That's what a hoe
Yeah.
would do, right? Short term, like slang, right?
Yeah.
So
Maybe there's
I
a
think it does
probability
reflect
that
the
she's
behavior
not,
just by
but
definition.
There's a probability that maybe she's not. If you're lucky, maybe she was just really in the mood. Maybe she just really had a good date. There's a possibility, but very likely that she's just promiscuous. If she doesn't text you after and she ghosts you, then yeah, she's definitely promiscuous.
Yeah, but what if the
She's
guy
so
sucks?
ashamed.
Like, what if you go into it and you're like, oh, this guy's awesome, we're vibing, we have so much in common, and then it's like, don't ever touch me again. You know?
Why would you do that?
I mean,
Well, you don't know until you sleep with him.
also you could
Okay, like he's
grow
bad in bed?
sexually in that
Yeah, there's that
relationship.
too, but
Like,
Go ahead, Sophia.
I mean, if you could stay with them if you really like them and grow with them and figure out what works right for you, and like all that. I mean,
Well, what
you
if
don't-
it's so bad you're like, I don't ever want to see this person again?
Like
Yeah,
you just don't
is
know.
that
Wait,
okay?
why
Then
can't you
leave.
do that with getting to know them first, though, and then you sleep?
Well, no, I'm just saying, hypothetically, like, you're just like, I never want to, like, this person's into some weird shit. I don't ever want to see, like, it
Yeah, no,
ruins your
right.
image of them.
That makes sense.
you're like, no,
Yeah.
I can't. Like, I'm out of here. Like,
yeah,
just leave him.
exactly.
No,
Is that okay?
I can get that, but like, I mean, personally, if they're just like bad or they're a virgin, I mean, you could
No, not
grow with them,
something like
you
that.
know, and work sexually to like, get what you like. You
Yeah,
don't
that's
have-
always an
You don't
option.
have to just break up with someone just because they're not good at sex. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like that's very superficial.
If you really like them, you'll probably
yeah,
work through it.
like
I
I just
agree.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
guess.
that's like a good reason.
I think in the grand scheme of things, though, at the end of the day, it really just depends on what people are looking at. I think if somebody wants a long-term commitment, and therefore marriage should be the goal, and therefore you should do things that a person that wants to get married would do. And I don't think sleeping around with people on the first night is something that someone wants to get married wants to do.
Yeah.
That's fair.
They're very out of practice.
Well, to get back to the original thing, though, I guess my quarrel is, there can be trends that I've noticed where, for example, woman throughout her 20s, she'll gladly engage in hookup culture, sleep with people relatively quickly, and then, or even, within the same time frame, she'll have one standard for one set of guy and then another standard for another set of guy. So the guy who he's just really attractive or whatever, she'll sleep with him quick.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have any expectation of a relationship. However, the guy she wants a relationship from, she makes him wait for sex, even if maybe he wants sex.
What's the problem, though?
But it seems.
Well, it's like it's two standards.
Well, I mean, she has the standard for the guy she wants to sleep with because she doesn't want anything else. But like for me, like I said, the reason I wait the more I like a guy is because I don't want my judgment clouded by sex. I want to see what kind of person they are. I want to see how emotionally intelligent they are. I want to get to know them. I want to see them on a bad day. And if I have sex with them, my brain is going to want to fill in those gaps and be like, oh no, he's great. So I wait. I'm not just doing it for no reason.
But it's an odd standard to have.
So what if the
Why?
woman does have that standard?
Why is it odd?
Because to you it seems like it doesn't actually matter if they had that standard that they'll sleep with Chad but not the nerd or whatever, because as long as they're sleeping with you. That's
do you
what it
mean?
kind of seems like.
What do you mean?
Well, because it's like you're commenting on that style, right? Of, oh, well, will you hook up with a Chad but then make this other guy wait because he's kind of like being portrayed in this situation as a simp. No, I'm not saying that waiting makes
Yeah.
you a simp, by the way. Obviously, like I think waiting for sex is a good thing.
And I don't expect them to be like waiting for me.
But it's just that it seems like, because you said you're okay with a girl doing it on the first date, and you could see that being a long-term thing. But
Who said that? Brian said that?
yeah,
I
Yeah.
know he ain't. Brian,
What?
you said you would think about marrying the bitch that let you fuck
Well,
on the
hold
first
on.
date.
I'm not in favor of marriage, but
Well, you would
But then you expect
consider
some
a
quality?
long-term relationship with a girl that give it up on the first night.
We're kids.
You would consider that truly, deep down in your soul and heart.
it's a good question. I mean,
I know
look,
you didn't
again,
say
Guys could
you have to
kill.
understand there's other criteria with which you can assess promiscuity. To me, I don't think the quickness with which a woman sleeps with someone is necessarily like the sole indicator of promiscuity.
but that's what
That's
they
true.
do.
But you be talking about these girls be out here getting ran through.
Okay, so for example, you can make the argument that women who are promiscuous, more likely than not, do sleep with people quickly. However, not all women who sleep with people quickly are promiscuous.
Yeah.
So you're saying that
Sure.
women that aren't promiscuous do promiscuous behavior?
He's saying
hashtag not all women.
promiscuous. We're looking at the, let me use a
I'm
legal
not,
term.
I'm not entirely
Yeah,
following, but I
confused
think you're a little too stuck on some comment that
He's
I
looking at
previously
the
made when it
totality of
comes.
the
I'm
circumstances.
commenting on the one you just made, because you're saying that women that aren't promiscuous do promiscuous behavior.
Brenda,
So you're
just
saying-
means
But it's
got
not-
That
lucky.
don't
Yeah.
make sense.
It's not entire.
So you're saying the only
Promis-
criteria for
promiscuous
promiscuity
behavior
is
would be
sleeping with someone?
fucking a lot of dudes.